taxes. 15 years later, in 2007, the 400 richest people in the country, and the different people, it's changes over time, but the 400 richest people 50 years later made collectively $28 billion, up from $8 billion. And they paid about 24% of it in taxes. And the liberal Sun says, look at that. The rich are getting richer, and they're paying less and less in taxes. And my friend in the Massachusetts Republican Party wrote back to his liberal Sun. And he said, I'll take your numbers, but you're misinterpreting them. Okay? When the tax rate was 27%, then the 400 richest Americans made $8 billion, and the government got about $2 billion out of it. When the tax rates were lowered, and they were paying 24%, then they made $28 billion, and the government got $7 billion, or more than $7 billion out of them. And what do you want? The government got 3.5 times as much money. What are you complaining about? And he sent me this entire conversation, and he said, did I give my son the right answer? And I said, you gave him the traditional answer. You gave him the Ronald Reagan answer, the Laffer curve answer. Okay? That at lower tax rates, you get more revenue. And at higher tax rates, you get less revenue for obvious reasons. I mean, this doesn't take a whole lot of reflecting that the higher the tax rate is, the more effort people put into avoiding taxes, and the less effort they put into making money. And if you lower the tax rates, people put less effort into avoiding taxes, and more effort in making money. I mean, to assume otherwise is assume that people don't respond to incentives, which is absurd. But I said, however, I'm going to disagree with both you and your liberal son. Because I think you're both assuming stuff that has not been proven. This is what lawyers call facts, not an evidence. Okay, there's underlying assumptions that are not being examined, and that's kind of what I'm here for. I'm here to encourage people to examine unexamined assumptions. And the first unexamined assumption is that rich people ought to pay more in taxes. And if I may be forgiven to ask the question, but what's the logic behind that? Why does the rich guy owe more in taxes than I do? Best answer I ever heard on that came from an interesting place, came from Bill Clinton. And when he was president in 1993, and I remember the day he said this because it fascinated me, he was raising taxes, Bill Clinton, and he said that those who get the most out of society should be obliged to put the most back into society. And that's why I'm going to raise their taxes. And I thought that was fascinating back in 1993. I spent the whole day in 1993 thinking about this. Honest to goodness, I did. Because this is like an equation. I love equations. Because equations are right or they're wrong. Right? I mean, either I can prove it wrong or I'll have to accept it as right. And Bill Clinton is giving me an actual formula for something that the Democrats assume all the time. That those who get the most out of society should be obliged to put the most back into society. And I said to myself, what's the trick? Because it's just a trick. It's a cheap, tawdry Clinton trick. That's all it is. Like the phony people she got to meet her in Iowa the other day. Okay, it's always phony with the Clintons. And then it struck me that he's changing the definitions of one of his words. And you can't do that, right? The law of equations is that your variables have to stay put. X and Y cannot change their value in the middle of the equation, right? If you're changing the meaning of words in midstream, then the entire thing is no good. That makes sense? So what's the word that Clinton is changing its meaning in the middle?
Taking out.
Society. He's got two whole definitions of society, and he switches them in the middle. Okay, let's listen to it again. The first time he says those who get the most out of society. What does society mean at that moment? It means the marketplace. That's what it means. It means the market economy. Where did Donald Trump make his money? In the marketplace. He develops real estate, he sells the real estate, makes the money. Where did Bill Gates make his money? In the marketplace. He makes software, he sells the software, he gets the money. This is the marketplace of what society means. Then, if we continue the statement, he says they should be obliged to put more back into society. Now what does society mean? Now it means the government. Look at that. We just did a whole switcheroo. It's like a shell game. It means something totally different. Did Bill Gates make his money from the government? No, he made his money in the marketplace. Is Bill Clinton asking him to put more money back into the marketplace? No, he's asking him to put money into the government. This is not a small point, my friends. This may be one of the greatest points that you need to understand in the whole world of economics. When there is a normal exchange, both sides prosper, both sides benefit from all free exchanges that occur in the world on their own terms. So I'm going to pick on my friend Jim Baker over here, just because I know his name. Let's imagine that Jim and I were to go into business together, and it could be anything you like, but I got a simple example. Let's imagine Jim were to hire me to mow his lawn. Just a simple exchange. He says, Lauren, I'll give you $20 if you mow my lawn. And let's say I accept. I say, you're on. That's a fair deal. I'll take it. And I mow his lawn, and he gives me $20. Now I'm walking home with a $20 bill in my hand. And whom do I run into on the way home? But the tax man. And you know what he says to me? He says, I see that you just made $20 out of society. Don't you think you ought to be putting something back into society? What would I say to the tax man? I didn't make the $20 from society. I made it from Jim. Society wasn't even there. The Jim has a lawn. He wanted me to mow the lawn. I mowed the lawn. He gave me the money. What society are you talking about? They weren't mowing the lawn for me. Moreover, I would say to the tax man, you're not society. You're the tax man. Okay? The society exists in a completely different plane than you existed. The reasonable question is, did Jim get his money's worth since he's the one I actually contracted with? Did he get his $20 worth of value out of me? That is a fair question. And you know what the answer is? It's a really important answer. He got more than $20 worth of value out of me. How do I know this? Because it's a common error. People think that you go to the marketplace and you trade equal things. It's not true. Everybody goes to the marketplace and trades what they value less for what they value more. Okay, that's the nature of all exchanges in the world. That's why we go to the marketplace. If you were content with what you already had, you would stay home that day. You went into business because the other guy had what you had. The fact is, we all have different priorities, different values. Okay, so if we all value things the same, then there wouldn't be any exchanges at all. But some things I value more, and some things you value more, and we trade them, and we're both richer at the end of the day. This is why you have eBay, right? If we all wanted the stuff we started with, eBay would be out of business tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. So the answer is that Jim valued his lawn being mowed more than the $20 because he had every opportunity in the world to just keep his $20 and let the grass grow. He could have had tall grass and $20. And he decided that he would rather get the nicely mowed lawn, and he preferred that to the $20 or the million other things he could have spent that particular $20 on. Okay? He is richer on his own terms, and so am I. I'm richer too, because I valued, if I accepted the deal, it was because I valued the $20 more than the time and the effort that I put into mowing the lawn. Okay, I could have done a million other things with that time and effort. I could have mowed my own lawn. I could have taken a nap. I could have done all kinds of things. Okay, I decided that I was better off with that deal, and so did he. This is the beautiful thing about the marketplace. The marketplace is where we go and we make each other richer.